The CoinDesk Spotlight is brought to you by Nexo, the place to earn on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and more.
Well, 2021 was an incredible year for crypto. Bitcoin hit an all-time high of at $69,000. The most expensive NFT was sold by Christie's for $69 million, and we're still in early days. What will 2022 hold? Joining us now with a couple of predictions is Graham Jenkins, CEO of token sale platform CoinList. Hello there, Graham. Thanks for joining us. So CoinList has come out with a survey of top crypto predictions for 2022. So let's start off with the top prediction for Bitcoin price, and also tell us how you conducted this survey.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. Good to be back. So yeah, we reached out to our community. Around about 4,000 folks responded to us. Our community's, I'd say it's a pretty smart community. These are folks that have participated in token sales at an early stage. They've got sort of the guts and the foresight to identify high quality pre-launch tokens. So they've probably got some insight into what may be coming down the path. And so yeah, that's basically how we did it. We do this every year. Alex Tops from our team ran the survey, and yeah, happy to jump in to any points we want to dig into.
Well, the first one we see here is the price of Bitcoin, and it sounds like a lot of folks believe it'll be over $100,000 within the year.
Within the year, well, we were all thinking it was going to happen by December, right?
This year.
2021.
Right. Got a week.
So
you got a week left.
Yeah, there's plenty of time.
Yeah, you have a week left.
We'll get there. Yeah, I think once we wake up from our Festivus hangover, I think we'll shoot straight to 100,000. So, but yeah, numbers go up, numbers go down, and Bitcoin continues to roll on, and innovation continues to happen in the space. So, that's what we're excited about going into 2022.
What do you think is driving their bullish optimism?
Well, I mean, it's just so much development going on in the space, so much capital moving into the space, a lot of new projects out there pushing the boundaries of what this technology can do, more adoption happening. One of the key findings was around gaming, and how gaming ends up being a vertical that a lot of people in our community at least are excited about. A lot of development happening in that space. And so, with all the capital flowing in, developers flowing in, projects launching, applications being developed, greater and greater adoption, it's hard to not be bullish.
Mm-hmm. Another point there was, will another central bank or country follow El Salvador's example? And they have made Bitcoin legal tender. They're creating a Bitcoin city. They have volcano nodes. So you had an overwhelming majority say that, yes, another country or central bank will follow El Salvador's model in 2022. Any indication of, what country might do that? What central bank might do that?
Well, it's hard to imagine the U.S. Congress or central bank dropping everything to follow El Salvador's leadership. But, I think what's great about what El Salvador is doing is that, they essentially have the same mission that many of us do in this industry, which is to try to accelerate the advancement of this technology. So that's great. And building all the infrastructure that they're building is fantastic. I think it's going to be a great utility for their community, for their country. But actually, what we're more excited about isn't so much what's happening in a central government context or a large nation state context, but more from a bottoms up standpoint at the governmental level. Projects like CityCoin, led by the Stacks team, where you've got Miami adopting its Miami coin and generating revenues for the Miami government. I think what we're excited about is more kind of local government participation in these kind of events and activities. And I think eventually what you'll see happening is that those local governments, that network of local municipalities, will start to see the revenues that are being generated from participating in crypto. And get excited about that. And I think it's a great bottoms-up way of getting governments engaged, and probably a more crypto-native way of getting governments engaged in this ecosystem. So we're excited about that.
So one thing I noticed, you had Solana and Binance Smart Chain are two layer ones that your survey participants thought would approach the value of Ethereum by the end of 2022, or at least it had the best odds of it. really, how realistic is that? I mean, look, Ethereum's pretty valuable right now, and of course, these are two layer ones that have a lot of, let's say, enthusiasm for it, but really up to as much as Ethereum. Is that realistic, or is that just getting closer in terms of valuation to Ethereum, but not near it?
I know it took Ethereum years to get to where it is today.
Anything is possible in crypto, but I think it's probably no surprise that Solana in particular got mentioned, just given that CoinList ran the Solana auction in early 2020, and so we've got quite a few happy Solana token holders on the platform. So I mean, there's no wonder why they're kind of hoping it gets to the same level as Ethereum. I think part of the challenge there is that I think the question may have been asked a little bit incorrectly. There's definitely a lot of activity happening on other L1s, whether it's Solana, Binance Smart Chain, Avalanche, Algorand, etc. But the other thing that we're seeing is a lot of activity happening on L2s from an Ethereum standpoint. I mean, there's obviously so much developer momentum on Ethereum, but moving to L2s, I think we're going to see. We've already seen a lot of that in 2021, and a lot more activity there going into 2022.
So what's getting the investors excited in general? Like, if you were to step back, you have the survey, you ask them a bunch of questions, but you step back and you look at it, you say 2022 is coming around the corner here. What's getting them all their attention? Where would you say it's really going, and where's the excitement here?
Yeah, good question, Lawrence. There's two big areas. I think one is around gaming. Gaming, I think, ends up representing a couple of different things to our community. One is that there's the gaming ecosystems that are developing. It's not just purely about games being developed, but these teams, whether it's Immutable with Immutable X or Sky Mavis with Ronin, they're not just building games like Axie or Gods Unchained, but they're building these gaming ecosystems that are kind of like Valve Corporation's Steam with its kind of marketplace and community and everything else. But really what these teams are building is Steam on steroids, where there's the financial dimension, there's the wallet, there's the economy, there's efficiencies from a roll-up and L2 standpoint. And so so much development's going on in that space. And actually another great thing about gaming is that the game developers are really solving a lot of the UX challenges that we've had across crypto in general. You have to have good UX in order for games to be successful. So I think we're really excited about that. And then the other thing we're excited about is what's happening from a cross-chain interoperability standpoint. We're seeing a lot of projects focused on whether they're building on IBC or they're L2s that are running transactions on the L2 but then settling on L1 from an Ethereum standpoint. There's lots of interchain activity going on and more infrastructure around that. So excited about seeing that develop in 2022.
Yeah, I see some of the top projects that folks are most interested in seeing on CoinList were gaming, DeFi, NFTs. NFTs have been particularly big this year. And I wonder, what do people see? What do you see in store for NFTs next year?
I wish I knew. I mean, it's a bizarre and interesting space. And I'm not necessarily the expert there, but what we see going on with NFTs that's really exciting is the construction of communities around NFT offerings, and where the NFT represents exactly. I mean, it's like a key into a community, right? It's a representation of your identity, and your identity is associated with the community, and within that community, you've got access to unique conversation and the ability to run projects, whether it's in the context of a DAO or some other grouping, access to alpha. And so, NFTs, it's a little bit less about just purely the asset that's associated with that NFT, but it's that access to that broader community that I think we're going to see more focus on in 2022. I mean, it's already happening.
All right. So as people focus onto metaverses, gaming, and Web3, what will happen to Web2?
Yeah, great question. I don't know. I mean, I think it's hard to see the Googles and Facebooks of the world disappear, or the Alphabets and Metas of the world disappear. But yeah, I mean, I think more and more of those companies are going to be moving into the space. They're going to be trying to understand like what their strategy is with respect to Web3, putting investments there. There's already, lots of development going on within some of those companies in terms of, how do we take advantage of these new technologies, newer technologies, and so we'll start to see some transition there, I think. But yeah, we're a long way away from seeing Web2 disappear and Web3, whether Jack likes it or not, becoming superior.
Poor Jack.
Poor Jack. I know if it's poor Jack. I mean, I think the interesting thing about what Jack's saying is that, I definitely understand where he's coming from with respect to, this idea that Web3 is just enriching VCs. But, I think, there's also the aspect of, founders are making these decisions to go to those VCs to raise that capital. And, what I'd say to those founders is that there's a lot of pressure on those founders to go to the name VCs to raise capital. But there's definitely lots of other ways to raise money without necessarily getting that signal.
Speaking of which,
yeah.
Speaking of which, you raised some money, right?
This is correct.
You guys raised about 100 million. Congrats! Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
valuation of $1.5 billion.
Yeah, so we did that. Initially with some of our existing investors. And then, we started to, Jack probably wouldn't be happy about this. We started to reach out to the kind of name VCs and crypto VCs. And then we realized, what? We've got a large community of investors on our platform. We're growing in Eastern Europe and Asia. And, we need help in those regions to understand what our strategy should be there. And so we ended up building this large community of investors that participated in the second tranche of our round. And so it looks a little bit more like, distributed fundraise. So we took a little bit of a different approach.